Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Well, today in this video, we're going to talk about the rights of the wife on her husband, right? Before that, I would highly recommend you go ahead and buy this book, The Rights of Husband and Wife. This has been written by Hujjat al-Islam Sheikh Muhammad Ismail Rajabi. There's the Urdu translation for this book available as well, which is Sayyid Ghulam Hasnain Kararwi. And the English translation has been done by Sayyid Hussain Rizvi Sahab. Now, I'd highly recommend going ahead and buying this book. It has got some great narrations mentioned in there with the references as well from the text that those narrations have been taken from. Now, why do we talk about marriage? Why is it so important to know the rights of the husband and the wife and so on? So I'm not going to take long on that because I want to really focus on this in this video on mentioning the rights that the wife has on the husband, right? But I would really like to quote this one hadith from this book of the rights of husband and wife. The one that I just showed, right? It says one of the narrations from the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam that man ahabba fitrati falyatasanna bisunnati wa min sunnati an-nikah, that the one who's attached to my fitra should follow my practices, right? And one of my practices is marriage, right? So it's a highly recommended act, and you should go for it. Now, straight away jumping to the book that from which I took the major content of this video. This is the book, Commandments of Life. Okay, so this book contains the rights that I'm going to mention after this, the rights that the wife has on her husband. The book has been compiled by Mohammad Husain Fallahzadeh. Now, this is the English translation, right? The original text is in Persian. That book is huge. Now, this book is only about 200 pages, that's it. But that book is way bigger than this one. The book has not been obviously completely translated, that's what I mean. Although this book contains a lot of contents, and I would highly recommend you go ahead and buy this book. I'm gonna start with the rights of the wife on the husband, and then in the next video I'm going to talk about the rights of the husband on the wife. So yeah, let's proceed and let's take it ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and mention the references as well that have been used in this book. Also, you might be wondering who has written this book, or where does it get its references from, or what's really going on with this book. I'm going to mention more details about this book in the description of this video, or in the comments section. I'm going to pin that comment, or you can check the description, it's going to be there. But yeah, whoever's interested in knowing more about it. So just to give you a hint, it's on the collection of rulings, fatawa of the maraji', different maraji' like Imam Khamenei, Imam Sistani, and so on. Right? May Allah bless them. So yeah, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and talk about those rights, the rights of the wife on her husband.
Okay, so before we go ahead and talk about the rulings, a quick disclaimer here. We are going to use a couple of words that are adult in nature, so that's why just wanted to make sure that I give you a heads up before we proceed with the rulings now, right? So yeah, take whatever action you want to take right now. Okay, let's go for the first one. All right, so the first one is among the wife's rights over her husband in a permanent marriage is that the husband must pay for her living expenses, the alimony, right? And you have the reference right here. Okay, pretty simple and straightforward, right? Let's go ahead and talk about the second one. So we're talking about the living expenses are not a certain amount, right? The alimony, basically, right? It's not a certain amount, but it is obligatory on the husband to supply what his wife needs in life, such as food, clothing, housing, home appliances, for cooking, eating, drinking, cleaning, sleeping. And the reference again, you have right here. So this is also the right of the wife on the husband. Let's go ahead and talk about the third one now. The third one, this one's amazing. Take a look at this one. In paying the alimony, wife's poverty and need does not matter. It does not matter, right? Wife has the right to alimony from her husband even if she earns income by herself and is one of the most needless people, even though she doesn't need it, she has her own job, she earns a lot, she earns like anything, still she has the right to alimony from her husband. All right. Again, the reference is given right here. I would highly recommend, if you're not going to buy the book at the moment, maybe you can take the screenshots of these slides or just write those down with the references as well, right? All right, let's go ahead and talk about the next one. All right, let's talk about the fourth one. So if the traveling expenses of wife exceeds her expenses at home, it is not on her husband to pay it. If the wife, for example, has traveled herself and spends more on travel than in home, it is not on her husband to pay the extra amount. However, if the husband is inclined to take his wife on a journey, he must pay her traveling expenses. Right? Pretty simple and straightforward. Here's the reference. All right, let's move to the next one. Okay, the fifth one is if the husband pays daily or monthly a sum of money to his wife for the common living expenses, she is not allowed to give charity or buy gifts for others with that money without the consent and permission of her husband. However, if the husband pays her expenses in cash or gives the money for her own or gives her full authority to spend it, then spending it on charity or a gift or any other thing does not require his permission. All right, you have the reference right here. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the next one. All right, so the sixth one is the alimony is paid to wife in such a way that, like the other members of the family, she eats meals with her husband, or the husband provides food and clothing for her. The reference is given right here. Let's move on to the next one, which is right here. If the husband and wife agree that the alimony be paid in cash, if they both agree that the alimony be paid in cash, then there will be no problem and the wife will possess the money and she is free to spend it as she likes, right? And the husband has fulfilled his duty towards his wife regarding paying the alimony. However, no one has the right to compel the other one to pay the alimony in cash. Simple as that. Here's the reference. Let's move on to the next one, which is this one right here. What do we have? If the husband pays his wife for the expenses of a few days, say a week or 1 month, together, but the wife does not spend all or a fraction of that money. For example, she spends of her own income, right? Let's say she's working and she has a job and stuff, so she spends of her own income, or her father gives her money, or she spends that money economically so that she can save some of that. Whatever is left from the alimony belongs to her, okay? And the husband has no right to take it back. Is the reference Tawzi al-Masail. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have this one, number 9. If the wife disobeys her husband on matters that she's obliged to, right? She has no right to alimony. Right? We're going to come to more details on this when we talk about the rights of the husband um, on his wife, sorry, on his wife, and that's where we're going to talk more about it. And so yeah, if she disobeys her husband on matters that she is obliged to, she has no right to alimony. So just keep that in mind as well. Tozi al-Masail. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, man has no right to compel his wife to render household services. Please take a note of this one. Man has no right to compel his wife to render household services. Right? Tawzi al-Masail, the reference right here. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, what do we have? It is not permissible for a man to leave his permanent wife in such a way that his wife seems neither like a married nor a single woman. However, it is not necessary to stay with her every 4 nights. Okay, so pretty simple and straightforward. I don't think there's anything to explain there. Reference Tawzi al-Masail, and the numbers are also given right here. Okay, the next one is this right here. So it is not permissible for the husband to abandon sexual intercourse with his permanent wife for more than 4 months. The time period is given 4 months. When it comes to the Grand Ayatollahs, I've pointed it out right here. Um, Ayatollah Tabrisi, Makarim Safi, and Agha Sistani. They're mentioned here as his young wife. So it's not permissible for the husband to abandon sexual intercourse with his permanent young wife for more than 4 months, um, as per these ayatollahs, the grand ayatollahs, right? The reference given is this one. Okay, so let's proceed to the next one. What do we have here? So, if the wife has stipulated in the marriage contract that her husband should not take her out from a town, and husband has accepted, husband should not take her out from that town, right? The reference right here, and let's move on to the last one that we're going to talk about, which is the husband. Yeah, this one's great. Husband should forgive the wrongs which his wife has done out of ignorance, and he doesn't misconduct her. Yes, please make a note of this one as well. No domestic violence. Don't go crazy on your wife. Stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this was useful. Please make sure that you make a note of these, take screenshots or whatever. Get in touch with me. Those of you who know me, uh, you can get in touch with me personally, and we can talk about it. If there's any specific information, piece of information that you need from mine, I'll be very happy to share that with you. Um, and yeah, please take screenshots of these and share it with the others as well, those who think you. Obviously, I mean, marriage is something every other person goes through, right? Every single person, almost every single person goes through marriage and, goes for it. So I would highly recommend sharing this particular video with all of them so that the women, the wife knows her rights, um, and I hope this helps. Thank you. You have a great day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah Hafiz.